Welcome back to the Situation Room. I'm Wolf Blitzer in Washington. A similar haunting ad worked for LBJ 40 years ago. But is the GOP crossing the line with its new campaign advertisement, warning of potential new terror attacks against the United States? Joining us now, CNN political analyst and Democratic strategist Donna Brazile, and Terry Jeffrey, the editor of Human Events. Guys, thanks very much for coming in. Is this ad, we've shown it earlier, warning of horrible consequences for the American public if the Democrats are elected as far as the war on terror is concerned, is this ad over the top?
Well, look, the Republicans, first of all, they're desperate at this point. Wolf, they're planning to run this ad on a couple of cable shows, spending less than $20,000. So this is not a serious ad. It's meant to rally Republicans, to try to motivate the base. It's shameful, it's despicable, but the truth of the matter is that they have no credibility when it comes to fighting the war on terror. They have no credibility on national security. Democrats have regained the edge, and I think this ad will backfire.
Here's what former President Bill Clinton said yesterday. Listen to this.
They've won 2 elections by their skin's teeth, by scaring people at the end and dividing them up again. But you can only run the dog through the same path so many times before it doesn't work anymore. And I just think it's kind of a mangy old dog now.
Is it an effective strategy, though?
It's the most important strategy, Wolf. I think this is an excellent ad. The bottom line is the Democrats are claiming they're better on national security now. You can trust them more to protect us against terrorism. Bottom line is we are in a congressionally authorized war against al-Qaeda. Everybody knows they're still out there. Everybody knows they want to kill them. Everybody knows that the fundamental duty of the federal government is to protect us, our communities, our families against our foreign enemies. So the question people have to answer when they go to the polls in November 7th is the exact one that ad asks.
But in some of the more recent polls, it shows that the American public thinks Democrats can do a better job fighting terrorists than Republicans
can.
Right,
Wolf, and the fact that the Democrats are complaining about this ad makes me think that Democrats themselves don't even believe it. And I tell you, if this debate gets back on, do you want the United States to intercept the international communications of al-Qaeda? Do you want us tracking their finances? Do you want tough interrogation methods for al-Qaeda terrorists? Do you want to keep Guantanamo open and keep them there, or put them in U.S. courts where a liberal judge
do you want to implement the recommendations of the 9/11 Commission? Do you really want to hunt and kill bin Laden, or just talk about it and talk tough so that you can run election ads? Look, Democrats have a plan for real security.
What is it?
Today, Nancy Pelosi...
Are you in favor of intercepting al-Qaeda's communications?
Today, Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid once again sent a letter to the president saying it's time to change course. We've lost 200 troops over the last...
Are you in favor of waterboarding al-Qaeda terrorists?
You know, I don't think...
Do you think they should have habeas corpus appeals in federal courts where liberal judges...
Do you think
al-Qaeda terrorists are common criminal?
Do you think talking tough is going to actually keep America safe?
I don't think the Democrats...
We've had 6 years of nothing from the Republicans but talk of fear.
All right, guys, hold on. I want to move on, talk about another issue that is a huge issue overhanging this election. That would be Iraq. We just got a new ad that a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate in the state of Minnesota, the seat that Mark Dayton is giving up, is now running. This is an extraordinary admission on his part. I'll play it for you.
None of us like war, and we've made some mistakes in Iraq. We're facing an enemy that must be defeated. Leaving Iraq now will create a breeding ground for new attacks on America. That's the harsh reality. My opponent says the answer is diplomacy, but you can't negotiate with people who want to kill you. I'm Mark Kennedy. Securing the peace is a lot harder than wishing for it. I approve this message, even though I know it may not be what you want to hear.
Now, Donna, he's in a tough race against Amy Klobuchar, the Democratic candidate. That's Mark Kennedy. The polls show she is ahead right now. What do you make of his strategy in going after those who are really concerned about the Iraq war and him making that case the way he has?
Well, what he's trying to do, because he voted for the war, he supported the war, and he supports state of course. And what he's trying to do is change the subject and say, you know, this is about the terrorists. This is not about my record. This is not about, you know, the United States having an exit strategy. And once again, I think, it's going to fall on deaf ears because the American people now want to hear, what are you going to do differently? Do we have an exit strategy? Can we force Mr. Malaki and others in Iraq to stop the militia? That's what they want to hear. They want to hear some success and not more of the same.
Is Congressman Kennedy, who's giving up his House seat to run for the Senate from Minnesota, is this a wise strategy on his part, knowing the state of Minnesota as well as you do.
Well, absolutely. Well, look, you'd have to be a fool not to know that we are in a very tough situation in Iraq. Americans are getting killed. Sunnis and Shias are killing each other. Today we had Shias killing Shias in southern Iraq. The question isn't whether the American people want to get out of Iraq. The question is, what's the optimum path? And if we follow the path many Democrats are advocating, that we get out of there before we have political stability, the consequences will be worse than the consequences we're suffering now. That is an ad that goes to that point, and it's a point the Republicans need to make.
Well, there's now a bipartisan consensus that's being developed, led by John Warner, Chuck Hagel, and others, that said it's time for us to have a new strategy in Iraq. And hopefully the president will listen to the military commanders coming into Washington this week to discuss a new strategy. That's what we need in Iraq.
We got to leave it, guys, right there. Donna and Terry, thanks very much. A good discussion in our strategy session. Up next, Hillary Clinton under the debate lights tonight.